Hi everyone! Today's video will be on my favorite animated movie. And of course, I'm talking about Tangled. The film was made by Disney and it was released on November 24th, 2010. So that's nearly 15 years ago. It's astonishing just how well this movie has aged. It's one of the best Disney movies to date. And as I said, it's my favorite and the favorite of many others. But where does all that charm come from? And how has Disney failed to replicate it in their newer movies, as they haven't been doing very well? Let's get into it. But before that, I have to leave a disclaimer. This video will have a lot of spoilers for the movie, so I genuinely advise you to watch the movie if you haven't yet and then come and watch the video. You will not be disappointed, I swear. Without further ado, let's get into the plot. Because this video is shorter, I will not delve deep into the plot, rather just give a shorter summary and talk about the more important parts of the movie. When it comes to the story, it's similar to a German fairy tale called Rapunzel, made popular by the Brothers Grimm in their folktale collection in 1812. The movie itself is also based on this story, and that's where the main character gets her name, Rapunzel. At the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Rapunzel's parents, and we learn that while her mother had Rapunzel in her stomach, she was very ill. The king set out knights to find a cure for her disease, and they did. They found a magical flower which they used to heal her, and that's how Rapunzel actually survived. But unlike her parents, who are characterized by their brown hair, she actually has golden hair. This is because the flower that they found is also called the sundrop, and it's golden in color. Because of this happy ending, the king and the queen would launch the lantern into the sky. However, they didn't know that an old witch was using the same flower to keep herself young. After seeing it being stolen by the knights, she went herself to the castle. She used to sing a song to the flower which made it use its powers, and she did the same with Rapunzel, singing to her as her hair started to glow. And the witch tried to cut off her hair to get a piece for herself, but she realized that when she cuts the hair, its magic stops and it turns brown. With no other way to keep her youth, she steals the child and she locks her up in a tower deep into the forest. Meanwhile, the king and queen search for their daughter, but they're not lucky, so they make it a tradition around the castle that everybody lets out a lantern on her birthday, as they did when she was first born, hoping that one day maybe she will return. This is when finally the film starts, and this is all the lore you practically need to follow the whole story. We see Rapunzel almost 18 years later, thinking that this witch is actually her mother. She has lived all of her life trapped in a tower. She has never seen the outside world, but she believes because soon it's her 18th birthday, her mother might let her go and see the outside world. However, this doesn't turn out to be the case, and her mother just scolds her for even trying to ask for that. Rapunzel is heartbroken and she tries to find out another way for her mother to let her leave. Now perspective shifts. We follow these three thugs, two twin brothers and one very handsome Flynn Rider. They enter this castle and steal the princess's crown. As they're escaping, they're chased by knights, and Flynn kinda uses his other two friends to escape while he sets them up to be captured. But he's still chased by the knights, or should I say the horse of the main knight, because yeah, we have Maximus. He's this horse who is very self-aware and is kind of a living being, so you know, this is a Disney movie after all. At the end, Flynn actually discovers the tower and he tries to hide there, but Rapunzel hits him in the head with a frying pan. She is happy that this is a sign that she can fend for herself, and she wanted to show her mother. She tried to make it a surprise, but as she mentioned the idea that she wants to go out again, her mother lashes out at her. Rapunzel uses her quick thinking and she makes her mother go to buy her paints, which she knows would take her at least 3 days of traveling for her to bring back. Her mother, while annoyed, still does this for her, as she thinks that if she does this, Rapunzel will stop wanting to get out of the tower. But this is actually furthest from the truth, as when her mother leaves, Rapunzel uses this short time frame to convince the guy, aka Ryder, that she wants to go out and see the world. And if he helps her in that, she will give him back the crown, which she found in his bag, which he hid. Of course, Ryder doesn't have any other options, so he does that, and we finally see Rapunzel leaving the tower. This is a beautiful moment followed by an intensity of emotions. From then on, Ryder actually wants to use this to his advantage, thinking that if he scares her enough, she will want to go back to the tower and give him the crown. He tries doing that by taking her to this very scary bar, but she actually makes friends with the mafia who is there, since the place is basically filled with thugs and people who are killers. However, Rapunzel doesn't seem to have a problem with this, actually makes friends with those people. They even help her escape when she's chased by the knights because they're going after Flynn. After a cool runaway scene, they actually manage to escape. However, to do this, Rapunzel actually needs to use her powers, with her hair helping them save themselves from drowning. You then get a short campfire moment when the characters learn something new from each other's past. After Flynn goes away for a second, the mother actually appears. But she doesn't take Rapunzel back, she actually just scares her. This is so that she can make a good enough plan later so she can put her off from running away again. The next day, Flynn and Rapunzel go to the city, aka the castle. They spend their whole day there and then they go into a little boat. From there, they actually watch the lanterns and they're beautiful. So now Rapunzel is officially 18 and they can have their romantic moment, but they're actually cut off by the thugs who are waiting for Flynn on the shore. Finally, Flynn uses this moment to show his character growth as she wants to give them the crown so that they can leave him and Rapunzel alone. However, this was a setup from Rapunzel's mother. She says that Flynn has left her and takes her back home. Flynn is actually found by the knights and he's going to be hanged the next day. While Rapunzel is back at the tower, she actually pieces the whole story together and she finds out that she is the missing princess. She tries to stand her ground to her mother, but is instantly trapped. Flynn actually finds a way to escape prison and he goes to the tower trying to save Rapunzel. However, her mother stabs him and she wants to let him die there. Rapunzel offers to go with her anywhere she pleases if she only lets her heal him, as her powers don't just de-age people but they also heal wounds. As she's saying her final goodbyes to Flynn and she wants to heal him, he suddenly cuts off her hair, giving her this little weird and kinda ugly bob, but that's not the main point. He actually takes off her magic from her hair because, as I said at the beginning, when it's cut, it doesn't have its powers. Because of this, the mother also kinda instantly dies because the flower's powers has stopped working and she has probably been alive for a couple of centuries by now. Flynn is about to die though, as he has been stabbed recently, as we know. Rapunzel's tears actually heal him, and then we learn that her powers are actually a part of her. It's not just from her hair. At the end, both her and Ryder go to the castle and she meets her real parents. Then of course she becomes the princess and Flynn becomes the prince as he is her husband now. And they lived happily ever after. I think that I did this plot dirty with this summary. The story sounds very simple and kinda bare bones. And that's because in theory it is, but then what makes this film special? Well, I would definitely say a major point is the characters. The characters in Tangled are amazingly written. A lot of them are super charismatic and charming, and they have this special flair to them. But let's go one by one and discuss them. Of course, we're going to start with the main character, Rapunzel. Rapunzel is a sweet and innocent girl. She has spent all of her life isolated from the outside world. This is why she's also kinda shy but also very naive. However, even with her very apparent flaws, she isn't dumb by any means. She has lived her whole life in isolation, but she is actually very smart. She has read a lot of books. She has been painting, knitting, sewing, cleaning up, doing acrobatics, and even learning some things. Also charting the stars. She is definitely a very knowledgeable person, with of course her main problem being that she doesn't know anything about humans. She hasn't really met anyone other than her mother, so her people skills are kinda bad. But not in the sense that she doesn't understand others, rather than she doesn't know that some things are truly bad in the real world. Of course, one of those things being her mother, who is literally her kidnapper. Other than that, she's great at making connections, as she becomes friends with everybody in the bar, and even when she's in the castle, she is very charming and charismatic. A lot of kids go to her and they love her instantly. Not to mention the fact that she is able to change Flynn, a person that might be regarded as a hard pill to swallow. So overall, her character is great. Even from the start, you really start loving her, as you truly understand her from the first time she comes on scene. And what's different from older princesses, not the ones that we have today who are all girl bosses, she was actually one of the first who fought for herself. Yes, she was scared, yes, she wasn't the main hero of her story, but she stood up at times and she truly presented herself as this strong female figure, regardless of the enemy in front of her. But to be for real, she has probably learned this from Flynn. Flynn is the second main character in the movie, and he is the one who narrates it actually, at least the beginning and the end. He is also a great character, as he starts off as this douchebag, slowly turns into a normal human being. We actually learn that his behavior is like that because he has had a tough life. He was an orphan and would constantly steal stuff, which is why he became the robber that he is today. But in retrospective, his charming personality is just a decoy for the person that he is. It's not that he isn't as charming or as charismatic as he naturally is, but it's kind of a cover-up for the fact that he is kinda sad, and he isn't very happy with his life and how it turned out so far. He has to do this because he doesn't really want to let anyone in. He doesn't want people to know that he's hurt, or that he has been hurting for a while now. However, that's why his dynamic with Rapunzel is so good. She's the one who is very capable of reaching to his heart and learning some things about him. That's mostly because of the scene where they almost drowned in the cave. Because he thought it was his last moments, he shared one of his biggest secrets, and that is that his name is Eugene. We also see that after this moment, he kind of feels different towards Rapunzel, and he views her in a different light. At the end of the day, his sacrifice means so much, because he did that for Rapunzel because he loved her, and he also didn't want her to end up like him. He didn't want her to suffer, to feel bad, as he did all those times, and his sacrifice was actually a moment when he can feel a hero, when he can feel like he finally did something which was worth living. He saved somebody and atoned for his sins in a way, but life actually gives him a new alternative. Now he has a wife and he lives like a prince. His character development is probably the best out of everyone in the movie. It's probably why people like him so much. Now the last character I will deeply cover is Mother Gothel. I failed to mention her name in the plot summary, which is something I'm very sorry about, but nothing to change about now. So, Mother Gothel is actually the witch. I call her a witch not because she has powers, but she kinda gives out that vibe. And in her true form, she's kinda this old hag. She's definitely one of the best Disney villains to date. She's very intelligent, manipulative, and even a great tactician. She knows that all of her strength actually lies in her mind and her mouth, as she uses both of those to make some of the most incredible lies. Not to mention that she's good at persuading and actually is pretty fearless herself. She knows that every time when a job needs to be done, she has to look at her surroundings and see what she can use from it. That's how she gets the thugs to do stuff for her. And she's definitely a great villain because her death in the end is very satisfying to watch. And you know what they say, if you're happy that a villain has died, they're probably a pretty good villain. I won't go deep into the other characters, but we'll definitely mention them. And let's start first with the real parents of Rapunzel. And unfortunately, they don't have any characteristics about them. They're actually barely in the movie. But this makes sense, as I think that if they were more present, that the plot might have been a bit too stretched between characters. We get enough of them to actually realize what they're feeling, and I think that that's enough. Now when it comes to the thugs and the Snuggly Duckling, which is the bar where Flynn and Rapunzel go, we see a variety of characters, all which look very mean and evil. But we quickly learn that they are actually pretty similar to Flynn. They have had bad lives, and of course they have done bad stuff in their lives, but they're just people after all. They do feel and they have dreams and goals who they think that they can't manage because of their bad past. The movie doesn't want to say that they're actually good people because they're not. They have truly done bad things in the past, but it tries to say that no matter the past, you can build your own future. You can become a better person. You just need to try, and you shouldn't let things hold you back, especially not things that have already happened and you can't change. I don't have anything more to say about them. I think that they're great in their context, and they're used sparingly, but they're used nicely. Good job for that, Disney. Last but not least, when it comes to the character animals, I think that they did great in this movie. In some movies, you see that these pets are actually pretty annoying and they don't really do anything for the plot. And while I will say that Pascal, who is Rapunzel's chameleon, doesn't do a lot for the plot, he is still a great character on his own. I didn't know when to mention him in the summary, but regardless of good or bad for the plot, he is a great character, and he does make a great duo with Rapunzel, because as I said, it's kind of funny that this girl's best friend is her chameleon, but it makes a lot of sense. In her 18 years of life, he was her only friend, and so their understanding is on another level, which is something that I really like. Because usually you see these princesses who have a lot of friends and stuff, but then they just randomly choose for their best friend to be a chicken or something. I don't know, this isn't directly a jab at Moana, but that's the first thing that I thought of, and I think that that's very weird because they're pretty sociable people. But when it comes to Rapunzel, she has nobody else. Like, her best friend has to be the chameleon, you know? And of course, all the scenes with Pascal are just great. They're peak comedy. The same can kind of be said for Maximus, though I do really like his character arc with Flynn Rider. Of course, Maximus doesn't do much on his own, but he's a great enemy to Rider at first, and then they become frenemies, kinda. Some would say they're friends, but no, I really do like their dynamic. I hope that they stay these frenemies, or at least friends who like to bicker a lot. I feel like that's great for them and for their dynamic. All in all, these characters are amazing, but something else that is amazing, which has to be pointed out, is the art and animation. When it comes to the animation, I have to say that this is one of Disney's best animated films. It flows perfectly, is very magical, and most importantly, they had a lot of trouble with the animation for this film. And of course, a big deal with that had to be Rapunzel's very long hair. Not to mention that this was Disney's first 3D animation, so both artists and animators really struggled with this one. And Disney actually lost a bunch of money on this, which is why they consider Tangled to not be a movie that has made them a bunch of profit, as they have lost more money than they have gained. However, it was worth it, because after this movie, the animators and artists were truly set for the next movies. They now knew how to use these tools, so this would come in handy a lot in the future. I have to say, every scene is just magical. The colors, the lighting, it all just looks spectacular, but I have to single out all of the scenes that were in the castle and in the lake or sea or whatever that is, where they're floating with the boat. All of those scenes were perfect. I think that they were great, especially with the lanterns. I have to say again, that was one of the most beautiful scenes that I have ever seen in animation, and I think that nothing has truly matched the vibe of that. So it's great because the characters are good on their own. The story, so as I said, the story is okay, the characters are great. And then we also have this atmosphere, the whole setting around these characters who just amplify the story so much. And truly, the beauty of it all does add a lot to the story. And I think that is one of the reasons why this film is just so good. Another thing which is very good and which is on the same level as the art and animation is definitely the music. Now, I don't think that Tangled is known for its music. It definitely has some songs which are bops, but they didn't leave the same impact as Let It Go or some of those more popular songs. However, in the context of the movie, the songs are great. They push the story forward, they delve into the characters, they delve into the lore, and they're very catchy, they're very melodical, they're very happy and uplifting, at least most of them. And I have to say that I love the fact that the songs actually are connected with each other. I mean, when there are reprises of songs that have been sung before in the movie, because it just shows how the characters have developed and how they have changed from the first time that they sang the song and now the second time, and it's truly amazing. I have to say, When Will My Life Begin and When Will My Life Begin the reprise are my favorite on the track. I also, the one on the boat, I See the Light, yes, that one. I really love those ones. They're all in my liked songs playlist, and I think that they're great. They're just amazing. Not to mention the sound effects which are not truly related to music, but they're related to sound, so they're kind of in this category. I think that they're great as well. And of course, all of this helps the animation, all of this helps the characters, and all of this helps the story as it sets the vibe for everything, and it's just truly great. The only thing that is left is for me to rank and review this movie, to make a full review. So I genuinely think that this is the best Disney movie, or it's way up there with one of the best movies. It's not complicated, but it's not way too simple for it to be just considered as a kid's movie. It has a great balance. It's very romantic, it's very sweet. It's also comedic, which is something that I didn't expect after all of these years, for it to still be that funny and for all the jokes to slap so well. As I said before, everything just clicks perfectly. And even if music didn't leave as big of an impact as in K-pop Demon Hunters, or if the visuals could have been better, or the characters could have been better, or the plot could have been better, it's just the way that it's all structured. It's just very well. It's very well packaged, and I think that's the reason why it's so enjoyable, why it's so well done, and why you could really appreciate it a lot. I have to say I was also surprised when I actually heard the real story from the Brother Grimm, which they had collected, and that story is dark. That story is pretty dark. It's not very dark. It's not incredibly dark or gory, but it has some gore, and it's pretty weird. I've heard that there are actually two versions of the story. I'm not sure if that's true, but if you're guys interested, you should definitely check that out if you want to, of course. And finally, the last thing that I have to say is about the rating. I'm contemplating giving this movie a 10 out of 10, but I think that I would never give something a 10 out of 10. I think that that's pretty lazy to say, because nothing is perfect. Even if this is my favorite movie, I would definitely give it a 9.5 or 0.8, depends on the day, but it's definitely up there. It's definitely that good. So I will say that you should definitely go watch this movie. I hope that you have opinions on it, because I want to hear them. I want to hear what people think about this, because I heard that there's going to be a live action movie as well. Hopefully not. Sabrina was supposed to star in it. I love Sabrina, but let's not do this. This is something that needs to stay in animation. And yeah, I guess I will give a short conclusion to all of this, but it won't be directed with the movie itself, but more towards the other Disney movies and how this movie fares against them. So to conclude, this movie, very good, extremely good, great. You should go watch it. Why is it better than a lot of other Disney movies, especially the ones that have came out recently? Well, it has a lot more soul. It is way better, and you can see that it's way more polished, that a lot of people have put a lot more work into it. Not that the other films haven't been worked on. Of course, a lot of the animators and even music producers and people have worked very hard. It's just, we can see that this movie wasn't shut down by the company. Disney actually tried to make a good story here, and they did, and they let all the artists use all of their creativity, use all of their imagination, use everything that they have in disposal to make a great movie. Something which isn't true for a lot of films now recently, and it's super sad, because I truly think that the corporations are killing all of these movies, because they just don't let people make stuff that's entertaining anymore. For some reason, they have to filter everything, and they're missing the stories of a lot of films, which is why I don't want them to make a remake, because what was the Snow White remake? I haven't watched it, but I know that's bad. What's the Ariel remake? I haven't watched it, but I know that's bad, because I've watched a lot of things about it, and I've watched and read a lot of media about it, and I know that I can't say anything without watching the films myself, but I don't plan on watching those, they do not talk about the same characters, and it has nothing to do with race, it has nothing to do with cultures. There's just no point in changing a very good story. If you plan to modernize a story, you can do it, but you don't have to change it in a way in which it loses its charm, it loses all of its good qualities. It makes no sense. And Tangled is one of those movies who has so much charm. And if Disney tries to make it now, they will most definitely fail, unless they change something in their director's room or something. I don't know. But they need to stay away from this movie, and they need to leave it be. Leave it be, let it stay up there on its pedestal with all the other great Disney movies. And yeah, I will probably make more videos about other Disney movies. I'm planning on talking about The Little Mermaid, of course, the animated version, and also maybe Frozen. I really did like Frozen. But in the meantime, if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and leave a comment, of course, because I really want to hear your thoughts on the movie, and I want us to share our opinions and, talk about things that we like. It's always great to hear other people say what they have to say. And so, yeah, I truly hope you enjoyed, and see you in the near future. I upload videos every 2 days for the rest of this week. And after that, I will probably make a more stable schedule for uploading so that, of course, the videos can be better quality. Of course, I'll update you on all of that. So, yeah, have a nice day. Bye.